Good evening. My name is Mrs. Leonard, and welcome to Back to School Night 2020. I'm here to talk to you this evening about fundamentals of contemporary business. Before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about me. I grew up in Weehawken. I moved to Rutherford 25 years ago. I worked in a law firm for 15 years. I've been teaching in Rutherford for 22. I have two adult grown children that went through the Rutherford school systems. One is an accountant, and the other one is a special ed teacher up in Rutherford, up in Ridgewood. A little bit about my educational background. I have a Bachelor of Science in Business Education from Pace University. I have a Master's of Science in Education from Baruch College. I hold a supervisory certificate from Felician College, and I am Google Level 1 certified educator. What do we learn in fundamentals of contemporary business? Firstly, it meets the financial literacy requirement. What that means is in the state of New Jersey, every student that goes to a New Jersey public high school must have at least 6 months of financial literacy. Your children will be with me for the whole entire year. Here are some of the concepts that we cover. I like to say these concepts are real life skills because they are. I teach them the importance of savings. I give them tips about how to save. I talk about investing. I talk about the ways they can invest. I explain to them that if they put their money in a savings account, they earn very, very little interest. And if they want their money to work for them, they need to invest it. And we go over some investment options. I also teach them how to calculate a paycheck. I teach them how to get their gross pay, and I teach them how to get their net pay. I when I discuss the net pay, I explain the income tax, how their paycheck is taxed, and how they arrive at that net pay. I teach them how to calculate federal income tax. I teach them how to calculate Social Security. I teach them how to calculate Medicare, Medicaid, and how they arrive at the state tax that comes out. These are very interesting lessons because they cannot believe the difference between their gross pay and their net pay, and they never think it's fair that that we have to be taxed so high. And I tell them that's just the way it is. And I explain to them where the money goes, the tax money goes, and it still doesn't make them feel better, but they know that net is what they get. That's how I always say net is what you get. Then we talk about retirement. And they don't understand why, if they're 14, 15, 16, 17, why they should be learning about retirement. Because it's so important to start retirement planning early. I tell them their first job, they should immediately sign up for the retirement program, a 401k if they go out into business, that they should put the max amount in and learn to live off the lower amount because before they know it, they're going to be around that age and they'll have money that they didn't even realize was accumulating because I always tell them once the money is taken out, you can't spend it. So take it out before you get your paycheck and then build your budget on that lower amount. Then I talk about the economy, and that's what we're talking about now, how it works. We talk about wants, needs, decision making, values, opportunity costs, trade-offs. They don't they enjoy this, believe it or not, because we come up with some Miss Bot and I myself come up with some innovative lessons with regard to the concepts like opportunity costs. What does that really mean? What is a trade-off? What's the difference between the two? Why should they learn about the economy? What are economic indicators? How is the economy doing now? Does it always stay the same? How does the economy affect them? That's what we're learning about now. Then we talk about credit and debt. I tell them credit's good. You need credit. You need credit in this world. If you want to buy a house, if you want to buy a car, and you need to have a high credit score I explain to them how they get that high credit score. I explain to them why. Well, I don't always know why people abuse credit because they just do. I ask them, why do people use credit when they really shouldn't? Why do people charge things and buy things they can't afford? Why do people get themselves into debt? We they understand they understand the concept of credit cards, and they don't always understand the debt. And I explain to them, when you pay a minimum of a credit card, how much interest you're paying and how much that item actually costs you at the end. Then when we talk about debt, we talk about student loan debt. I make them research a college that they want to go to. I teach them how to compound the interest. And once the interest is compounded, what they would owe at the end of the 4 years if they borrow 4 years and the interest is compounded. And if they take the loan out for 20 years, what their monthly payment will be for the next 20 years. They are shocked how much they're going to owe. And hopefully, it makes them think before they pick a college that is going to put them in that much debt. Then we talk about budgeting. What is a budget? Why do you need a budget? How do you figure out a budget? I tell them, when eventually you're going to go on your own, and I make them get a job. They have to document everything. They get a job. They can't make more than $90,000 a year. We take out all the taxes and they build their budget off that. They cannot believe how expensive life is. And they're asking me for more money. And I'm like, no, you got to make the numbers work. They're like, I don't have enough money to buy anything. I can't go out to eat. Well, take it from somewhere else. Don't take it from your savings. This is one of the best projects, along with careers, that we do. I shouldn't say they're all good projects that we do with them, but budgeting really hits home and makes them realize how expensive things are. I make them go to ShopRite. They have to put things in their cart. They have to print out what they would buy in ShopRite. They can't just make up numbers. And I only give them a student loan payment of like $200, which I told them is completely unrealistic unless they go to a college that they can afford or they're only borrowing half the money. And it's funny because when I do this project, kids hear me that have had the class in the past and they always pop their head in and say, "Oh, Mrs. Snyder, that was a great project. I learned so much from that." Then we talk about financial planning. I tell them there are financial goals, cars, houses. How do you achieve that goal? What do you need to buy a house in Rutherford if you want to live in Rutherford? How much do houses in Rutherford cost? How much down payment do you need? Then I include the property tax. If they find a house, we put the down payment with the property tax. They're shocked at what it costs to live in Rutherford or any Bergen County town. Then we talk about taxes, but by with this and on this lesson, we talk about the taxes, the federal income tax. I teach them how to do a 1040. When I teach them the paycheck, they know that federal. I teach them how the federal income tax comes out. Then I tell them, comes April, you can fill out your 1040, and perhaps you'll get your money back. Some of it. Perhaps you'll get none back. Perhaps you'll pay more. Well, it blows their mind that they pay for out of every paycheck, and then they cannot believe that they sometimes owe more. And we give them the most recent 1040s that are out there. So what they're doing is real. And they can't believe that after you pay federal out of every paycheck, that sometimes the federal government wants more. And I show them how to figure out if they get it back, if they owe more, or how much they get back. And then we talk about careers. I make them pick a career. I make them tell me how much the career pays, what the job outlook is for that career, if they don't plan on living in New Jersey, what the career opportunity would be in the state that they're going to live in. We make a brochure and they print them out and they do a beautiful job. And some of them, by doing this, decide, maybe I really don't want to choose that career. Because if I have to spend 6 years in school and I'm only going to start at $45,000 and I have this huge college loan to pay for, maybe I'm going to decide to go into something else. So these are some of the concepts that we talk about. And as I tell them, these are real life skills that will stay with them forever. Now, how do I grade it? How do I grade it? Well, the grading scale is tests are 45% of their grade, quizzes are 25%, classwork and class participation is 20%, and homework is 10%. Everything I do works through Classroom. Anything they need to know, I communicate through them through Classroom. If they have a question, they can email me. I also have an open Zoom in the afternoon for any questions for my business kids, for any questions for my honors kids. They email me all the time. You, as a parent, if you have a question, why does my son or daughter have a zero? If they miss the test, I have to put the zero in. Then I give them when they have to make it up. And if they make it up within the time frame, then they get the grade. Kids say to me, why, Mrs. Underwood, why do you have to put the zero in? Because that reminds them that they have to take the test. If I leave a blank, they're if I leave it blank, they don't realize the test is missing. Then at the end of the quarter, I put in um, a zero, and they'll see their B become a C or a D, or their A become a C. So I put the zero in. They come make up the test, and then I put the proper grade in Power School. Again, any questions, any concerns about the class, please feel free to email me. Remind them that I Zoom in the afternoon, and if that Zoom doesn't work for them, we can arrange for another one. I read my emails. I will get back to them by the end of the day. Within 24 hours, they will get an answer from me. And if perhaps I missed the email, please tell them email me again. Even the same applies to yourself. Any questions, any concerns, please email me. Also, if I feel that your child is slipping and not doing, working up to par, I will reach out to you. I want to thank you and have a lovely evening.